UK's heating and cooling and gas requirements will be starting to return to national boundaries within 2023. And finally, oil continues to be volatile. Again, the normal kind of things overhanging that market, what the demand from China is going to be, and what the effect of the oil price cap will be on Russian exports. And of course, we've got OPEC Plus as well coming up to tell us all about that. That is the global view this morning.
Thank you very much, Michael. The global view this morning, not very encouraging for a start to 2023, particularly the dim view on the economy, global economy by the IMF, and also the fact that a third of the world is going to be in recession starting 2023, looking at the US, UK, and China's state at the moment. But I'd like us to zero in on China's house prices falling, despite Beijing's interventions, despite the injections to try and uplift that segment. I'd like you to share with us your view on what's the road to recovery for China, particularly because Goldman Sachs have said that it's going to be a long and bumpy ride, and then the impact for the global economy.
Well, I think that the Chinese property market is a very important part of the Chinese economy, and the Chinese economy is a very important part of the global economy. So I think that as soon as that starts to show some sort of growth, which it is hoped, the IMF is hoping that it may well be growing into 2023. It may be that recovers. You're absolutely right. The Chinese authorities have done what they can, I suppose, to try to inject some kind of oomph into the Chinese property market. But when people don't really know what the future holds, and I still feel there's a lot of mystery about this. And my first story this morning was about the Chinese state media trying to tell people, look, we have this under control, and just because we're seeing a rise in cases, it's mostly amongst the elderly. The Chinese public are buying that story. Now, whether they continue, therefore, to become more optimistic and start to go back into the property market and prices starting to rise. A lot of people have defaulted on property. A lot of people have defaulted on their mortgages simply because their properties have not been finished. Many of them bought straight off plan in the good old days, which is only like 2 years ago. But now that's all fallen by the wayside. I hope, for China's sake, that managed to inject some life into the property sector, which will, in its own way, inject some kind of fuel into the Chinese economy, which, whether you like them or not, is good for the rest of the world.
Well, Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF boss, was very clear in saying that a third of the world will be in recession in the year 2023. But she singled out China specifically and said that China is going to face very tough economic growth in the next few months, and that the economy is bound to slow down, with implications for the global economy, of course. And she also pointed out that the PMI, of course, for factory activity, for 3 consecutive months in China has been dropping, has been very low. But in any case, we all know that the big fear for 2023 is probably, as the IMF boss pointed out, slow down in economic growth. But I wanted to mention Croatia. Croatia joined the EU actually, 13 years ago. Now what they've done is to abandon their own currency, the kuna, and also to adopt the euro, and also to open up their borders. So they now have a borderless zone with the Eurozone, 27th country to join the EU. But the fear that has been expressed by some people is that while this will help tourism in this country of 3.9 million people, that it will also drive up the cost of living crisis. So what are the advantages, in your view, for Croatia? Is it about cost of living crisis, or the fact that this country will gain better advantages being part of the Eurozone? And then, of course, inflation. Croatia has one of the highest inflation rates in the Eurozone now, 13.5%. Will it gain special advantages as a result of this? And then yesterday, Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro on Friday ran away to Florida, Orlando, Florida. Then Lula da Silva took over yesterday. The presidential search was handed over to him by a garbage collector, a 33-year-old garbage collector. But what is ahead for Brazil? considering the fact that under Bolsonaro, unemployment rates went down, the highest average inflation rate was 0.9%. In November, it was 0.02% actually. And then, of course, now you have from the right-winger, far right, you have this leftist, Lula da Silva, in spite of his experience, who has now taken over. In terms of fiscal policies, what should we expect in Brazil?
Which would you like me to answer first? Shall we talk about Brazil first of all? We did speak about this a few weeks ago, and I have no reason to suspect anything is any different. And when people are looking at the sort of public spending that Lula wants to employ in Brazil, he will face all the sort of normal problems that Brazil faces at the moment. It's simply, you have to ask your question, will the public purse support it? I suspect the answer to that will come up in the next few months. So it's okay having all the political reversions that we've had at the moment. But the reality is going to be, can the country afford to bring the majority of its very poor population into line with a sort of minimum wage or whatever they're planning to do? And I'm sure that that'll be something that Lula will be talking about, because he has talked about that before. It's a question of whether the public purse can actually afford it. As far as Croatia is concerned, I think the opening up of the borders is probably quite good for them. Again, what we see, Croatia is not. Is a tourist destination, and I think that swapping the kuna for the euro will probably mean that it's much easier to go there. I think opening up the borders is a very good idea. But you're quite right. I mean, the EU itself is facing high inflation, high unemployment, recession, and the rest of it. Croatia is not going to help or hinder that. It'll just become part of a bigger club, and we'll just have to go along with the main average fortunes of that club in the same way that the other 19 states do, or the other full members do, because it's the 20th full member of the EU and part of its natural expansion. Whether the experiment of the whole lot actually works or not, I think is a subject which we don't have enough time for on this programme. But I am sceptical about it, because I'm sceptical about the way in which any central bank can enforce one-size-fits-all economic policies on different forms of economies. That's what I feel about that.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. But we'll see what happens in China, where other countries have been reacting to the increased rate of infections. Even in the United States, we now understand that there is an Omicron variant that is very defiant. And, how that plays out, the XBB 1.5, it is called. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Michael was saying. The year 2023 is shaping up to be one of the most crucial for the economy of Nigeria. Beyond all the economic forecasts, Arise business correspondent Rotus Odiri spoke to everyday Nigerians to get the economic outlook for the pivotal year 2023. Here is his report.
It is January the 1st of 2023, a pivotal year for the largest economy in Africa. The question on everybody's minds: what is the outlook? What will be the outcome for the 2023 economy for Nigeria? The first headlines of 2023 in Nigeria's dailies illustrate the mood of the new year. Analysts weigh in on economic, political outlook and see a GDP deceleration. Anxiety as Nigeria enters a make or mar year. How to strengthen Nigeria's economy in 2023, according to the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, and resisting attempts by politicians to disrupt the 2023 elections. There was even an outlook for fashion in 2023. The Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, which was featured on the front page of the January 1st Guardian newspaper, laid out its key economic variables for 2023. Inflation, foreign exchange, GDP growth, fiscal operations.
He says he's made it up to this point.
The director of the CPPE, Dr. Muda Yusuf, looked back on Nigeria's inflationary trends for 2022 and its impact on the economy.
Well, it has been a very tough year.
Yeah.
And we must congratulate all the businesses that made it up to this point.
Yes.
And also the citizens as well.
Yes.
Because if you look at all the key macroeconomic variables, they have been most unfavorable.
Yeah.
And some of the experiences we had, we haven't had such experiences in a long time.
Yeah.
If you look at inflation, for instance, even though we have inflation, latest figure at 21.47, the experience and the reality that people face was that you should be talking of inflation of between 50 to 100%.
Yep.
It is really that bad.
We've talked about, yes.
Yeah, it's really that bad.
Yeah.
Because, you know, the official figures put so much into the baskets, even articles or items that are not so important.
Yeah.
But if you look at the basic things that matter to either the individuals in terms of their welfare and the citizens, you will see that we are talking of a very, very high inflation. Talking about hyperinflation.
Yeah.
And just as the World Bank said,
Yes.
the inflationary situation pushed 5 million people into poverty.
Yeah.
And if you ask me, the people that went into poverty will be much more than that. It was really bad.
Yeah. Speaking of the World Bank, its forecast for Nigeria has been one downward revision after another. The World Bank cut Nigeria's 2022 growth forecast to 3.1% from a previous forecast of 3.8%. The World Bank said that the revision in growth was due to slow economic growth in the third quarter due to weak performance in critical areas of Africa's largest economy. In its latest Nigeria Development Update launched in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, the bank said that the nation had to make hard choices or face a worse economic downturn in the months and years ahead. The bank also forecast growth to slow to 2.9% in 2023, adding that Nigeria's economy needs to grow faster to reduce poverty. It noted that despite favorable global oil prices, business as usual economic management is not delivering desired outcomes, and even if a crisis is avoided in the near term, long-standing policy and institutional challenges are persisting and severely constraining Nigeria's economy. The International Monetary Fund also revised downwards Nigeria's growth projection. The IMF revised Nigeria's 2022 GDP growth forecast to 3% from 3.4%, citing weak oil production and the adverse effects of recent flooding. Not far behind the World Bank's 2023 2.9% forecast, the IMF forecast 3% for Nigeria's economic growth in 2023. This obviously means that Nigeria did not make the IMF projected list of the fastest growing African economies in 2023. Senegal topped the list with projected growth of 8%, with Niger Republic in second place at 7.2%, and Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the Ivory Coast tied for third at 6.7% respectively. GDP forecasts are one thing, but what do everyday people think about the outlook for Nigeria's economy?
We're just ordinary people.
We spoke to a few of them.
I feel I'm hoping for the best this year. Presently, things are very difficult for us, especially with the poor. We are going through a lot. We are going through a lot of difficulties. Food are so expensive. A derica of rice is about 800. Pepper, you can't buy it. Yesterday I wanted to buy pepper. They said there's no 100 naira pepper, that is 200. I'm hoping for the best if they can help us so that things will get better, please. It is very, very difficult for us. Let things get better. I'm not collecting a better salary. Maybe I'm earning 50,000 naira. Everything in Lagos is about money, everything. How do I survive? I have to take transport, I will eat, I will pay house rent, NEPA bill is there, every other thing. If everything can get better, but I'm hoping for the best. I hope the best for the year 2023.
This 2023 is going to be better by God's grace, despite the previous year, 2022, it wasn't friendly at all. But this year, 2023, is definitely going to be better. Yes, by my faith.
I'm hoping it's going to be great, and whoever that gets elected, I just hope the person comes to do something really meaningful. Because last year, I almost said this year, last year it was really, things were really crazy, and it feels like every year things are always becoming really worse. Unlike 2 years ago, we were able to, for example, I was able to sell something to people for like 800 naira. Now, I find myself selling this thing to them for 2,000 naira. Importing now is really crazy because of the naira to dollar rate. So that is very discouraging for us that are like into business and stuff. So if this year it should still continue or becomes worse like last year, I think a lot of businesses will shut down, and then a lot of people will be put into poverty. Just really hoping people really stand up, vote for whoever that they think is right, and so that we can have a better economy. And whoever that gets elected also, I really hope the person comes to do something really reasonable.
We've seen from the Matthias Mbira, we've seen how the economy has been for 2022. But for me, I believe that this year will be better. We know that election is coming up in the month of March, and there is a lot of issues that are rising. Some are tensed, some think it's going to be better. But I think that we should be intentional about it and not totally depend on the government. Whatsoever, anyhow it comes out to be, good or bad, we should be intentional. We should plan towards this year. For me, I believe that this year is going to be good because of the plans I have for this year. And so also for everyone, especially the youths, let's have plans towards this year, and I believe we will have the best for this year.
To me, I believe the economy of the country is going to have a good turnout this year, being that we're expecting a new government, which I believe there's no, even though everybody is tensed, we don't know what the outcome is going to be like, but I surely believe that there's going to be a change. There's going to be a change. So even if the person, I don't care who is coming in, but if we also should be intentional about it, we should work towards it, I believe there's going to be a positive outcome.
I feel with the right set of leaders, right policies can direct us to the right path. But if we continue on the path we've been for some time now, I think it will be our doom. Because with 20,000 naira in your account, you can't even be sure of what tomorrow will be.
Sterling Bank CEO Abubakar Suleiman shared his optimistic thoughts on Nigeria's economy in 2023.
I believe that Nigeria 2023 will be a surprise to a lot of people. Government needs to pay more attention to employers of labor across the country, not just the SMEs, even the large corporations. Anyone that can help increase employment in this country today should be treated with decency, with support, so that we can cut down on unemployment and grow this economy.
So there you have it, a mixture of optimism, a mixture of pessimism, a mixture. It is January the 1st of 2023, a pivotal year for the largest economy in Africa. The question on everybody's minds, what is the outlook? What will be the outcome for the 2023 economy for Nigeria?
Okay, there you have it, as Rutu Sudire pointed out. Well, this is the season for crystal gazing.
Yes, it is.
About possibilities in the world in the year 2023. Earlier on, we talked about Kristalina Georgieva, the IMF boss, saying that this will be a difficult year, not just for China, but also for a third of the world. And all the references are about increasing cost of living, about inflation, and choices that economies have to make. And there you have Rutu Sudire breaking it down, the Nigerian angle, inflation, unemployment rate, and the difficulties that Nigerians may face. But this is also election for Nigeria, election year, make or break, make or mar year, as was mentioned earlier on this program. But whoever is going to be president of Nigeria has his work cut out for him. Whether the expected GDP growth is 3% or 2.9%, not good enough. The economists say that until we get this Nigerian economy to double-digit growth, we are not even scratching the surface. Well, may you have a happy year. We'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Festus Okoye, Independent National Electoral Commission's Commissioner for Information and Voter Education. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
As you adjust to the new realities for operating your business and engaging with your customers, let us help you transform your business into a digital powerhouse capable of adapting and taking advantage of today's opportunities. With our best-in-class array of digital solutions, you can conduct your business, receive payments from your customers, and perform transactions quickly, safely, and conveniently, because we've got you covered with the right people, technology, and service offerings. Contact us today and let us take your business to its zenith. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
I'm about to serve better breakfast.
If you're in Lagos, you need to see this.
I'm not just streaming content, I'm just escaping traffic.
Get more data to enjoy exclusive content. Dial *141# now.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
My brother, my sister, do you know that winning an election is not only about getting the majority vote? For that your candidate to be declared winner of the election, he or she must secure 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all states, plus the FCT to be president, and 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all local governments of a state to be governor. This is constitutional, and every presidential candidate has had to pass this threshold. Even governors have had to make this mark to get elected in their states. We live in one country with different languages, religions, and ethnic groups. This is why it is not enough to have only northern votes, or southern votes, or eastern votes, or western votes. The only way to get elected as president or governor is by gaining enough support across the country and states. Let us make sure that we know now, so that we don't cause an issue tomorrow.
This message is brought to you by the Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO.
Set to take the African continent and the world by storm. They are giants in every sense of the word, and they will bring entertainment that's just as big. Don't miss the first ever season of Big Brother Titans with two African giants, Naija and Nsamsi, under Biggie's roof together. Big Brother Titans starts on Sunday, 15th of January on DSTV 198, GoTV 29, and Africa Magic. Headline sponsor, Bamboo, Flutterwave, and Lotto Star.
To begin the year 2023, all eyes are on the preparedness of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, in discharging its duties during the elections. INEC has disclosed that over 2 million potential voters in Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, will not be permitted to exercise their franchise over failure to collect their permanent voters' cards. The electoral umpire insisted that despite the low turnout it has recorded, collection of PVCs by proxy would not be permitted. The Commission had fixed the 22nd of January 2023 as the deadline for collection of the PVCs by registrants ahead of the 2023 general election. Joining us on this show right now to discuss INEC's preparations towards the election and the low turnout for collection of permanent voters' cards is Festus Okoye, INEC's Commissioner for Information and Voter Education. Welcome to the morning show, Dr. Festus Okoye. Thank you for joining us, and a very happy New Year to you.
Yeah, good morning and happy New Year to you all.
Okay, I mean, INEC told us before now that nobody can vote without PVC, and that you have to go through BVAS for proper biometric authentication. And now this same PVC that INEC had told us is available, we're being told that people cannot even get their PVCs. It's not just a question of 2.1 million people not being able to get the permanent voters' cards in Lagos and the Federal Capital Territory. In parts of the country, there have been allegations that INEC officials are deliberately refusing to give out the PVCs. So, where does INEC stand in this matter? And yet INEC says it is prepared. And yet INEC says PVC is important. But INEC is not giving it out. What are the challenges that INEC faces?
Well, as you pointed out, this commission has fixed the 22nd day of January 2023 as the cutoff date for the collection of PVCs. Now, prior to this particular period, since the end of the 2019 general election, the commission has been giving out the PVCs of those who registered prior to that particular period and didn't collect their PVCs. So the collection has been ongoing. The PVCs we are giving out at this point in time are the PVCs of those who registered between the 28th day of June 2021 and 31st day of July 2022. It also includes those who carried out one form of transfer or the other, and those who lost their PVCs or whose PVCs were damaged and who applied for replacement. Those are the ones that we got ready within this particular period. So we are giving out the PVCs of those who did not collect prior to the 2019 general election. We are also making available for collection the PVCs of those who applied for transfer or those whose PVCs were lost, damaged, or defaced and who applied for replacement, and those who carried out a fresh registration during the continuous voters registration exercise. From the reports we have been getting, the turnout of persons coming to collect their PVCs has been quite impressive. So we believe that with the public holiday almost over, that the turnout will of persons coming to collect will increase. But this commission will not, under any circumstance whatsoever, give out any PVC by proxy. If people made efforts to register, and so many Nigerians made efforts to come out and register, they should also make efforts to come out and collect their PVCs. Now, from the 6th day of January 2023 to the 15th day of January 2023, the Commission will devolve the collection of PVCs to the 8,809 registration areas or electoral wards. So we believe that we are going to take these PVCs closer to the people and make it available for collection. Our resident electoral commissioners and the electoral officers have also been asked to devolve local mechanisms and local initiatives and creative ways of making the PVCs available to the registrants. But no PVC will be given out by proxy. In terms of some of the allegation that some of our officers are collecting money before collection, we don't have such report. And if anyone has such report, the person should make the report available or should make the report to the electoral officer of the local government or even to the resident electoral commissioner, and we are going to take decisive action against any of our staff who engages in any action that is unethical.
All right, thank you for your assurances, Dr. Okoye. However, some Nigerians have said that even the reporting process is quite unclear. So is it just to walk up to the electoral officer? What if the electoral officer themselves or he or herself is the one in breach of the INEC Code of Conduct? Who do we then speak to? Are there portals online that people can go on to report incidents? Because unfortunately for many Nigerians, social media has become their tool of reporting, where we see videos around, and then they've said it would be good if INEC could publish the processes and procedures as to how people can report, and then also publish cases where INEC has taken action to assure Nigerians that they're on top of things.
I think there are two issues involved in this particular process. The first issue is that when you want to go and collect your PVC, you must go to the registration to our officers with the slip that was issued to you at the point of registration. If you have lost that slip, you must go to them with an identifiable identity card, either a national driver's license or any other identification that is acceptable to some of our officers. The electoral officers at the local governments are not the ones giving out the PVCs. We have a full complement of staff at the various local governments. And what we have done is to segregate the collection into electoral wards. So you will find two INEC staff in charge of two electoral wards. And so what someone does is that when you approach any of our local government offices, you present your slip, and then they refer you to the staff that is in charge of a particular local government, and that particular staff will check that your PVC is available, and then they will incident you, and then you sign or thumbprint, and then they will give you your PVC. All these complaints really arose from the first day of collection, because there was a deluge during the first day of collection. But that deluge has completely evaporated, and we believe that the process has been streamlined. The process is now very, very seamless, and we encourage Nigerians to go and collect and go and collect their PVCs. There is no issue relating to the collection of PVCs. And the national commissioners of the commission will, the moment we devolve to the registration areas, lead the charge, lead the process to make sure that Nigerians go out and collect their PVCs. So I want to assure Nigerians, and I want to assure you, that the collection will be seamless, and that every Nigerian that made effort to register and wants to vote during the 2023 general election, we collect his or her PVC. But those who engage in multiple registration, those who engage in double registration, those who engage in unethical conduct during the registration process will not get their PVC. It is some of these people that are going to our local government offices to go and make trouble. But I want to assure you that only those who are validly and duly and legally registered will collect their PVCs, and no other person.
Okay, Dr. Okoye, Lagos presents a special case. People have been going to these local government offices in Lagos. They claim that they are being told that the PVCs are not available. They have been asked to come back much later, maybe after the deadline, for the collection of the PVCs. What is INEC doing about that? And then in Akwa Ibom and perhaps elsewhere, people are collecting, they are buying PVCs off people. They are collecting voter identification numbers. Now, of what use can this be to those persons who are exchanging money for PVCs and voter identification numbers? What would they use those numbers?
Well, in relation to in relation to Lagos State, the resident electoral commissioner for Lagos State is a very organized individual. Every day, he sends to the national headquarters of the commission the collection rate of PVCs per local government on a daily basis. So we have reports from every local government on a daily basis relating to the collection of PVCs in Lagos State. So in terms of Lagos State, I have no doubt whatsoever that the process is organized and that the process is clean and that the process is going on smoothly. And I want to still reassure Nigerians who registered that they will collect their PVCs. the persons who are not able to collect their PVCs, who are claiming that they have been asked to come back, are those who engage in multiple and double registration. Those PVCs are not available. When you tell them that they engage in multiple registration or double registration, they start trying to create confusion at the local government area. So sometimes, in order to calm them down, some of the staff just ask them to go and come back. So that's exactly what is going on. In terms of those who are harvesting the voter identification number of persons who registered, I think it's just an exercise in futility. Why are you harvesting and buying off voter identification numbers when those voter identification numbers were published in our local government areas and in our registration areas when we display the voters register for claims and objections? Those voter identification numbers are there. So those who are buying off people's voter identification numbers are just engaged in an exercise in futility. Secondly, we have made it very clear to Nigerians that this commission will deploy the beavers for voter accreditation and authentication. And the data of every registered voter in Nigeria per polling unit is domiciled in the beavers. It's not domiciled in the permanent voters card. So the only thing the presiding officer will do on election day is to look at the last 6 digits of your PVC and use it to bring out your voter identification number for purposes of calling up your data from the beavers. So those who are buying up the people's VIN numbers and those who are buying up people's PVCs can only engage in voter suppression. They can only suppress the vote. They can only prevent the voter from going to the polling unit on election day. But in terms of carrying out the PVC of someone else and giving to another person for the person to use it to vote, I can assure you that that is next to impossibility and it will not happen on election day.
All right, I'd like to commend the efforts of the campaign No PVC, No Voting, sensitizing Nigerians on picking up their PVCs. Recently, you had the Calabar Carnival to speak to Nigerians as to the importance of picking up their PVCs. I'd like you to share with us some of your office's initiative to ensure that more Nigerians are aware, because unfortunately, some people have stated that despite, I must admit, quite a widespread information on the dates and where to collect, some people are still in the dark. What are some of the efforts of your office to ensure that more Nigerians are aware of these systems and procedures you've talked about? The date for collections, the deadline for collections, what to do if you don't have your slip, because that question has come up a number of times, and then what to do when you've been, the office or the ward you've gone to isn't giving your PVC.
The Commission had a retreat with all the resident electoral commissioners for the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, as well as our administrative secretaries in Lagos. And we gave them our standard operating procedure for PVC collection. And then we also charged them to also explore local initiatives and creative methods and innovations in terms of PVC collection. You can see that during the Calabar Carnival, the resident electoral commissioner also initiated PVC collection for persons who registered in Calabar Municipal and Calabar South local government areas. And we made PVCs available for collection during that particular period. And over 200 persons collected their PVCs during this particular period. We have also energized our OB vans, and we are going around the markets, going around the churches and so on, together with youth corps members to sensitize people on PVC collection. And then our electoral officers in the 774 local government areas are also meeting with traditional rulers, meeting with religious leaders, going to the markets, meeting with market women and market leaders and so on, in order to sensitize them. So, and as I pointed out, national commissioners have already resumed, and they are going to go to the states that they supervise. And together with the resident electoral commissioners, they are going to address press conferences, they are going to meet with religious leaders, they are going to meet with traditional rulers in order to encourage them to make themselves available and collect their PVCs. So I think that the campaign is going on well. The campaign is going on in churches. The political parties are also doing their own bit. Civil society groups and organizations have been wonderful in the type of support they have been giving to the commission. So I have no fears whatsoever that all those who registered, who are validly registered, will collect their PVCs before the deadline.
Okay, but it will appear that every election cycle, INEC engages ad hoc staff, particularly members of the National Youth Service Corps. And in Lagos in particular, people have said that part of the problem is that INEC is grossly understaffed, even for this PVC collection process. What is INEC doing about recruiting this ad hoc staff? And you need probably maybe 12 persons per unit. Is there any progress in that direction? Because it's about having the hands on the ground. I don't want to say boots on the ground because it's not war. So is that really the challenge that you don't want to talk about?
No, there's no challenge here. For the 2023 general election, the commission will engage for both the national and the state level election. That is for presidential and national assembly election and the governorship and state assembly elections. We are going to engage over 1.4 million ad hoc staff. And this will be made up of core members and students of federal tertiary institutions in their penultimate year. And you will know that it is next to impossibility for an organization like the Independent National Electoral Commission to have over 1.4 million staff in its payroll. The total staff strength of the commission as of today is hovering around 16,000. So when we devolve the collection to the various registration areas, we are also going to engage the services of core members to assist the commission in terms of giving out these PVCs. And I believe that if we spend 1 week in every registration area, every individual who wants to collect his or her PVC, we have an opportunity of collecting. Now, let me also make this clear. During the registration exercise, we ask people to carry out registration wherever they are. And for those who carry that transfer, we told them that they can do transfer wherever they are. But when you do transfer, if you are in Lagos and you want to vote, for instance, in Kaduna North local government, the fact that you are in Lagos does not mean that you are going to collect your a PVC in Lagos State. You have to collect your PVC where in the local government where you have transferred to. But some people are going to the local government where they carried out the registration to go and look for their PVC. Their PVCs are not there. Your PVC will be in the place where you have told the commission you now want to vote. Because you say you don't want to vote in Lagos anymore. You want to vote in Kaduna State and in Kaduna North local government. So we've transferred you to Kaduna North local government. So your PVC is in Kaduna North local government and not in Lagos where you carried out the initial transfer. So I think that people need to get some of these issues very, very clear in order for them to have a very clear understanding of what we are doing.
All right, so we've had reports around underage voters, registered voters, illegal migrants from people who, from our viewers and also from people that we've spoken to. What is INEC doing to clean up the register and registration process to make it credible so that Nigerians can believe that indeed the next election is going to be free, fair, and credible?
Our voters register is robust, and we believe that our voters register is credible. As of today, the voters register is hovering between 93.5 million registered voters. Now, on the 16th day of January 2023, the Commission will publish the official register of voters that will be used for the 2023 general election. Yes, I completely agree with you that there have been issues around underage registration. in some of the areas where we recorded some underage registrations, we have summoned all the officers that engage in that particular exercise to appear before the commission, and they're appearing before a special panel of the commission, and it is still ongoing. Now, we have also made it very clear that any visibly underage person should not, on any account whatsoever, approach any of our polling units on election day, because if the person does, the person will definitely be arrested, and the parents may also be arrested for aiding and abetting such venture. Secondly, the chairman has also told the nation that the cleanup of the voters register is an ongoing venture, and we are going to make sure that all malicious registrations that have gotten into our register will be removed prior to election day. Some of the data you saw, some of the information you saw on the social media relating to underage registration, we have some underage registrations that took place between 2011 and before we went into the 2019 general election. This commission had the courage to publish the entire register of voters and ask Nigerians to also check to make sure that no malicious registrations have gone into our voters register. And so we have harvested all the claims, all the objections, and all the complaints, and we are cleaning up the voters register. And we assure Nigerians that the register we are going to go into the 2023 general elections with will be a voters register they can be proud of, and it will be a credible voters register. And the cleanup is still ongoing, and we are not done with it yet.
Okay, two quick things. The first one, which is a major source of concern, is voter turnout. At the best of times, voter turnout in previous election cycles was not more than maybe 45%. Now, this time around, we have BVAS, and BVAS does not allow for what is called, I think, incident forms. Will voter turnout not be less? And what is INEC doing about voter turnout? The second one has to be about a runoff, the possibility of a runoff. You were quoted previously saying, oh, INEC has prepared for that. INEC has printed 186 million ballot papers, and that INEC is ready. And this newspaper, Board of Editors, did a very robust thumb of rule analysis recently, saying that perhaps we're going in the direction of a runoff. Can you repeat your earlier claim, or will you do so, that INEC is ready in the event of a runoff, considering the fact that the reverse logistics is within a very short window?
Well, in relation to your first question on the issue of voter turnout, the conduct of free, fair, credible, and inclusive election is a shared responsibility. So the issue of voter turnout must be shared with political parties, civil society groups and organizations, the media, community leaders, religious leaders, the Independent National Electoral Commission, and indeed all Nigerians. All of us have a responsibility to make sure that we encourage our people to come out and vote. Not only that, this commission moved proactively to design creative and innovative mechanisms of making sure that more Nigerians register to vote during this election. And as you pointed out, over 76% of all those who carried out the continuous voters registration exercise were young men and women between the age of 18 and 34. So, and they used the online portal which the commission established for purposes of doing their pre-registration. So we are encouraged that more Nigerians engage the process during this particular period. Not only that, Nigerians have looked at the off-cycle governorship and other elections we conducted since the 2019 general election, and they are encouraged at the level of transparency and also at the level of credibility we brought to bear on these elections. And they believe now that there is a possibility, and I use the word possibility advisedly, that when they go out to go and vote, that their votes will count. So I believe that more Nigerians are now engaging the process, and that more Nigerians will turn out to come and vote during the election. We are going to use the BVAS. There is no doubt about that. Section 47, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act makes it mandatory that the BVAS shall be used for voter accreditation and authentication. If we do not use the BVAS for voter accreditation and authentication, that means there won't be any election in this country. And so we are going to use the BVAS. The incident form has been retired with all the benefits accruing therefrom. And so we never see incident forms in our electoral process because we have moved on and we have moved away from the issue of incident forms. And so we encourage people to come out on election day and exercise their democratic franchise. And we also assure them that their votes will be the only determinant of who gets elected and who does not get elected. On your second issue relating to the issue of runoff, the framers of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we are very, very clear on the responsibilities of the Commission. The responsibility of the Commission is to organize, undertake, and supervise election, as provided in the Constitution. Now, if you look at Section 134 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, it makes it very clear that before someone can be declared as having won the presidential election, the candidate must secure the highest number of votes cast in the election and also a quarter of the votes cast in 2/3 of all the states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. He says that in default of any of the candidates securing this, that the Commission has only 21 days to organize a second election between the candidate that secured the highest number of votes and one amongst the remaining candidates that secured a majority of votes in a majority of the states of the Federation. And it goes further to say that if no candidate secures the highest number of votes and also a quarter of the votes cast in 2/3 of all the states of the Federation, that there will be another election. It is at that third election that simple majority will be used to determine who wins. So what that means is that we are going to conduct the presidential election on the 25th day of February, 2023. And then the governorship election is still pending for 11th day of March. So we have 21 days to engage in reverse logistics and also conduct a second election if no candidate emerges. So what that means is that we must also prepare for that eventuality that there's a possibility that the election may not produce a winner. And so since we have just 21 days and since we also have a governorship and state assembly election pending, what that means is that the lawmakers expect the Commission to prepare for this second election, this eventuality, when we are also preparing for the main election. And that's exactly what we are doing and what we have done. And so we don't have fears whatsoever if the election, if no winner is produced during the first election. We will be ready for a second election if that eventuality is upon us.
Finally, Dr. Okoye, I'd like you to just speak to the security situation. I know that you're working, INEC is working in partnership with the security agencies. However, you have raised concerns around the fact that if there's a continuous attack on INEC facilities, it would jeopardize the timeline set for the elections to take place. Have there been improvements in this area? The last attack was on December 20 in Imo State. Has there been any improvement in this area? And then the second thing is the protection of your staff members, especially ad hoc staff, NYSC members, which has raised concern in past elections as to how INEC is working to ensure that they protect the lives of these young people.
The security situation in different parts of the country is a source of concern. There's no doubt about that. The chairman has spoken about this. We have had series of meetings with the various security agencies under the auspices of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security. And we have been assured, and they have also been working assiduously to make sure that our INEC facilities are properly protected. I am confident. I was in Calabar recently, and I saw the type of protection around our state office. And there has also been improvement in terms of the protection of our local government offices. But the Commission is also working hard to make sure that it uses its own initiatives in making sure that both sensitive and non-sensitive materials required for the conduct of election are strategically kept so that if there's any mishap, it will not have a huge impact on the Commission and its preparations. But as we have pointed out, the security agencies must find ways and means of making sure that we don't suffer further attacks, because the time for us to begin to move our non-sensitive materials to the local governments and batching them in accordance with our registration areas has come, and we cannot afford not to conform to our timelines. Our staff members and ad hoc staff that are going to be engaged in this election must also be protected. So we believe that as we have moved into the critical phase of the electoral process, that the security agencies should and must secure the nation to make it conducive for the voters, for electoral materials, and for electoral personnel to deploy. Nigerians are looking forward to this election, and we cannot, under any circumstance whatsoever, afford to disappoint them. The option of not conducting election is not even on the table at all. So we must do whatever it takes to make sure that this election holds on schedule, because not holding this election on schedule and not holding it at all portends very grave danger to our democracy and our electoral process, and we cannot afford to go that route. And so we are confident that we are going to conduct this election, and it will be a very good election.
Okay, Dr. Okoye, thank you very much for joining us. But one thing you put in your pocket as you go away, because we seem to have run out of time, is that in Lagos State, there are allegations that persons who bear non-Yoruba names are being denied access to their PVCs. I think INEC can investigate that. Anybody at all, whether you are Yoruba or whatever, and Lagos does not belong to Yorubas alone, you are entitled to your PVC. You can't be denied PVC on the basis of ethnicity, religion, or extraction. But that's a takeaway for you. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll take a short break now. And when we return, we'll be talking to Captain Tunji Shele, former chairman of the Lagos State chapter of the People's Democratic Party. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Emergencies happen when you least expect them to. It gets worse when you are cash-strapped. No need to despair. First Advance has you covered. You can get that urgent cash right now on First Advance. With First Advance, salary earners can get up to 50% of their salary. No hassles, as long as you earn a monthly salary and your salary account has been active for at least 2 months. It doesn't matter if you run a salary account with First Bank or any other bank. Just dial *894*11# or simply dial *894# on your mobile phone. What's more, when you open a First Bank salary account, you can enjoy 0 charges and free debit card issuance. Download the First mobile app on Play Store or App Store today. Log in to experience First Bank digital banking. Select Loans, select First Advance, and follow the prompts to receive your loan. Don't let that urgent need get the best of you. Get First Advance now. It's as simple as dialing *894*11#. First Advance. Fast, convenient, secure. You first. First Bank.
A reflection of the Nigerian never say die spirit. They never stay down. You're always thinking of how to improve. You're always thinking of how to move forward. My name is Emmanuel Ahimieho. I've been a civil engineer for 18 years. I'm the project manager of Obajana Kaba Road. The Obajana Kaba Road is 43 kilometers built completely of concrete pavement. We started work on December 2016. I remember when we came here, it was virtually lifeless. We're building a road that we know will need very minimal maintenance. It's a road that we don't need to rush back to in 5 years, trying to carry out major maintenance work. We don't need to import anything that we need on the road. They are all locally available materials. All the cement we use on this road is from Dangote Cement Factory, which is the largest cement factory in Africa. The sand is from the communities, so people from the community, they end up becoming suppliers. Imagine supplying sand for a 43-kilometer road. It's a lot of money. There are things I've learned from building this concrete road that I never knew 10 years ago. And to be able to lead those people to achieve something worthwhile, something that is of value to them, to the community, to people who have never met us. And I am positive that the road will outlast most of the people who are building the road. Along this route, you have up to 12 communities. People have the confidence to open shops. Why? Because, you know, someone is going through the road, they sell their things, they sell their goods. That is more money for them. We have a number of eateries now, and you want to buy foods along the road, you get fresh food, not food that are preserved. No, you get fresh food. So it is good for us, and it's good for the community too. The road is a lot more safer now for everybody, including Halima, including other travelers. So they have better roads, lesser crime, shorter journey times, so a lot of advantages. I've had people who go through the roads and they stop to just say, well done. We are proud of what is happening here. We're happy that this is going on in Nigeria in our time. We can see it. They are proud of it. I think it has brought life back to the communities. I feel very proud, extremely proud being a part of this project.
This na Emeka. He like to dey keep money for her. As CBN deadline don dey near so. This one na wise Emeka. As he don hear say deadline dey near, he wan carry money go deposit for the right place with Access Bank.
It's time to spread your wings and fly. Reach for the sky.
Even if the bank too far, na to go to the nearest Access Closer agent. No carry last with your money o.
Get up right now, right now.
Money wey you deposit for Access Bank, na money wey go make your mind rest well well. Don't let the money spoil for your hand o. 10 million naira today, fit be 0 naira tomorrow. Oya o, Musa, Shade, Onyinye, carry your money go Access Bank or Access Closer agent wey near you. Access, more than banking.
Welcome back to the morning show here on the Rise News. With the People's Democratic Party, PDP, considering the expulsion of the G5 governors, which is made up of Rivers State Governor Mr. Nyesom Wike, Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, Samuel Ortom of Benue State, Ifeanyi Ogwuanyi of Enugu State, and Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State. Many wonder what the fate of the governor seeking a second term in office and those contesting for the senatorial seats in their respective states would be. There's also a rumor about the G5 governors allegedly endorsing the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Joining us on the show this morning to discuss the possible implications if the G5 governors endorse a candidate from another party, amongst other issues within the party, is former chairman of Lagos State PDP, Captain Tunji Shele. Welcome to the morning show.
Thank you very much.
Good morning.
Well, Captain, Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Before we get to PDP matters and the G5 and the integrity grow. I would like your take on the statement by President Olusegun Obasanjo yesterday endorsing Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party, whom he says has an edge and has a thread tied to him from the north to the south, and that he has big ears that can be pulled by people. What do you think of that endorsement? And his statement in particular that this administration, the Buhari administration, has put Nigerians in hell on earth and has proved very stressful for Nigerians. I mean, you know the rest of the details.
Thank you very much. I think the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, is very right to say that President Muhammadu Buhari has put us in hell on earth. But we have put that one behind us. We are looking forward to a new government that will address this situation. And this is what PDP is trying to do to rescue the nation from all the troubles that we've been going through in the area of economy, in the area of security and infrastructure, so to say. On the second issue of endorsing Chief Peter Obi, Peter Obi is a new phenomenon. He has made an impact. He's now a third force. Unfortunately, he cannot go far. He cannot get the required 25% in more than 14, 15, or 16 states, and he requires 24. So that rules him out of the contest to an extent. Chief Obasanjo has always endorsed one person or the other, and going back to history, I don't think any of them has won in an election. He once endorsed, even Atiku himself, he didn't win. He endorsed some state governors, governorship candidates in Ogun State, and they lost. He will endorse you without supporting you. When you are endorsing somebody, it means you supporting with logistics and what have you. Obi doesn't...
Obasanjo is a pensioner.
Yes.
They don't have logistics.
Well,
he's a pensioner.
You will say that, but everybody knows that not all pensioners are equal. He's a special pensioner. Can we?
All right, so he's a special...
leave it at that?
Yeah, special pensioner. A number of things you've said that he's endorsed candidates in the past, and I'm glad you've also admitted that he's endorsed your presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar. In fact, earlier on this year, in February, your candidate went to see President Olusegun Obasanjo in Ota. Therefore, now that he's endorsed the candidate that is separate from yours, and they're saying he doesn't have political weight in that sense because he's endorsed candidates in the past, you know, bears the question then that why did your presidential candidate go and see him in Ota if he didn't really matter politically? But moving away from that and talking about issues that before we even go externally, you can't begin to fight external forces if you have internal forces, problems to deal with. And that has actually, unfortunately, dominated the PDP's headlines in recent times. The G5 governors. Recently, their trip to London, which coincides with the trip of the presidential candidate of the APC to London, even though the APC candidate has come out to deny meeting. But I'd like you to share with us the PDP stance on the G5 governor's trip to London and the outcome thereof, of a possible endorsement of and support for the APC candidate.
Well, the G5 governors have their own mission, and Governor Wike is leading the team. You realize that the four of us hardly talk. They hardly make comments. They are being careful. G5 is not as solid as we think. Makinde has a governorship race to contest. He has to focus, and I'm sure he's focusing. He's careful and he's cautious. He knows the implications of digressing or being distracted, and he's taking it as such. The people of Oyo State know whom they want to vote for during the presidential election. Governor Makinde is just a member of the team, G5. You hardly see him make comments. He's very, very careful. On the other hand, the governor of Benue State is also being careful because it can backfire. The chairman of the party that is asked or requested or admonished to vacate the seat of the PDP chairmanship is from the same state with Autumn, Tiffy for that matter. So it's a dangerous game for Autumn to play. It's also being careful. You will see that the two eastern states governors are equally cautious and they are not making statements. All I see is that Wike is championing a cause which some people showed sympathy at the beginning, but it's like it's losing grounds. Is it a vendetta? Is it desperation? Is it hatred? Is it grudges? Or is it complaining? If he's dissatisfied, then these are issues that can be managed internally. There are conflict resolution principles in PDP that can help you solve all these problems rather than going to the press all the time. Every little thing, you travel to London, you come back, you grant press interview. It's not desirable, it's not helping him, and it's not helping the party. It's not helping the image of an individual either, because it will backfire. It has consequences at the end of the day. It's turning drama to some other people. So let's hope he will have people who will advise him and he will use his own wisdom as an adult, a 55-year-old, to at least address the issue. We are not fighting. Politics is supposed to be a game of number, love, camaraderie, and you share opinions and help to develop the country, not to continue to go to the pages of the press, go to television and start fighting other people. PDP is comfortable as far as I'm concerned.
Well, the PDP Constitution, Section 58, says clearly that nobody can be allowed to bring the party to ridicule or expose it to the hatred of other persons or lower the party in the estimation of right-thinking members of the community, which means the Constitution talks about party discipline. The expectation will be that if people go against the party and they are members of the party, that they will be sanctioned. But Wike is saying that person does not exist that can sanction him in the PDP. And Chief Olabode George, whom you know very well in Lagos state politics, also says there is no way Atiku can go into that election without members of the integrity group. And that if he wants to do it, in spite of them, well, good luck to him. So what gives this integrity group led by Nyesom Wike this confidence that they are bigger than the party, if I may put it that way?
They are not bigger than the party. The group is not bigger. The party is supreme in all situations. That's why I said it could have been better to resolve these issues behind closed doors, not going to the press all the time. And I see it as a one-man show. The other four are not too aggressive.
No, there are others in an expanded group. You have Chief Olabode George, you have Professor Jerry Ghana, you have Mr. Donald Duke, you have so many other people.
Those ones are elders in their own respect. They hardly play major roles. Like I will continue to say, Wike is the champion. He is the one championing the opposition, and with time, necessary steps will be taken, but not sanctions. nobody will sanction Governor Wike and others because it's not desirable, it's not necessary, it will cause a sort of distraction. So it's not advisable to do that, whether they go to press on daily basis or not. But I know between now and election time, things will get better. Certain things will happen, and Governor Wike and the rest will see reason why they have to come back to the party. The party doesn't have to sanction them, despite the fact that the party is supreme.
Interesting that you say that the party wouldn't
So they will
sanction
be rewarded
them.
for bad conduct.
No, there could be implications and consequences. The consequences are graver if, at the end of the day, PDP wins in this election. And PDP is going to win because I can see from my own forecast and the forecast of that out of the 6 zones, we will do very well in 4.
Okay, so what you're saying, Captain Shella, is that it's very unlikely that these governors will be expelled or face sanctions by the PDP despite their anti-party activities. In the event, I know you're quite optimistic about them not, eventually coming to an agreement to support your presidential candidate. However, they've remained adamant that they will not support the presidential candidate of the PDP. In the event that leading up to the elections, as Governor Wike has said in January, which we've come into now, he's going to announce who he's going to be supporting and also canvassing for towards the elections 2023. In the event that it doesn't have to happen to be Atiku Abubakar, are you saying that the PDP will look the other way as they've done with Senator Chimaroke Namani?
Governor Wike is not in charge of all the elections in the various zones. He's from the South, and his influence is limited to Rivers State, so to say. His influence is limited, and the votes coming from Rivers State is just about 3-point-something million.
So Rivers doesn't matter?
It matters. We shall only lose some votes, but we shall gain some with the sympathy from other regions. Because as he is playing his own card now, other regions are looking as if he's fighting them as a region, as a group, as a zone. So the sympathy will go the way of PDP in some other states, while he is hammering and working towards not supporting Alhaji Atiku Abubakar in Rivers State. We shall lose some votes, but it may just be marginal. In other states of the South, for example, the chairman of the campaign council is from Akwa Ibom State. PDP will do very well. Cross Rivers is still PDP state, despite the fact that the governor left for APC. It's more honorable to leave the party than to continue to cause trouble. The Governor Ayade left honorably, and life goes on. The governor of Ebonyi State left honorably too, and life goes on. It doesn't reduce the influence of PDP in those states. So if Wike wants to live on his own, it's better than all these crises that he's creating. But I know, like I've said before now, that the 4 other governors are cautious. They are using native intelligence to handle this matter, and it wouldn't affect PDP to a large extent.
Okay, maybe let's talk about Lagos State. I mean, the major opposition to the PDP in Lagos State, that's a no-brainer, is the APC. Since 1999, your party, the PDP, has not been able to dislodge the APC. Now the situation is further complicated for the PDP in Lagos State. The presidential candidate of the APC is a former governor of Lagos State. And he says, at the presidential level, it is his turn, Emelokun, and that there's nothing anybody can do about that. In Lagos State, I guess you also want to take Lagos State. But your candidate, Olajide Adediran, popularly known as Jandor, is also very confident. He says, he will take Lagos State. Do you see PDP taking Lagos State in this race? Because even if Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not do anything, he will attempt to hold down Lagos State.
Yes.
What are the prospects?
One thing goes well for PDP. We have an energetic, courageous, and indefatigable candidate. Very hardworking. I can see on your station on a daily basis, he campaigns more than even APC, that is the ruling party in Lagos. And he has touched some areas that nobody has ever touched before. His team is working on a daily basis, and his campaign is robust. He has not called a larger, maybe rally, but we have penetrated a lot of places. And you know that the presidential election is coming before the governorship. Once Emilokan is dethroned, then things become much easier for our candidate. Our candidate is one to beat and is very confident that he will win. I like his faith. I like his belief in himself. And he's going to work. We are ready to support him. We are ready to back him. And we shall give him all it takes to win in that election, from ward to ward and from polling booth to polling booth. We shall do better this time. We did well in 2015. I believe we won in that election. We were denied. Before then, APC had been using the name of Awolowo. That's the mantra Chief Emilokan used to take Lagos. And at the end of the day, he used the power of money and some other areas I don't want to talk, like thuggery, violence, to intimidate. All those things are being addressed with the Beavers introduction. The introduction of technology will help us to reduce the issue of violence, issue of rigging, issue of writing results. They've been writing results in Lagos in most of the elections. There are elections that PDP won in Lagos that they will ask us to go to court and then deny us the winning. And the death of Funsho Williams really caused us a lot of setback. We hope such things will not happen in the politics of Lagos again. I think things are going to change during the next election, and PDP will be a party to reckon with for a long time to come after this coming election.
All right, so let's talk about structure in the political structure, PDP structure in Lagos State. I'm glad, and as expected, your confidence in your candidate's chances at the polls come March. However, we've looked at some of the important seats, the State House of Assembly, the Federal House of Assembly, where PDP doesn't quite have a stronghold. As Dr. Bati mentioned, since the return to democracy in 1999, it has been a battle, although unsuccessful for PDP. What are you doing differently? Besides the campaigns that are on television stations, what is the PDP doing differently to take, or to as much as possible, dig their structures here in Lagos State?
I'm sure APC itself is jittery. Our candidate came from APC. We saw that strength in him. We saw that confidence in him. And he's a strong character. He's daring. He can face them. Some of the candidates we had in the past were not as bold. They were not as courageous. They were not as daring. He's daring, bold, and courageous. And like I said, he has touched places. I was the chairman before. There are certain places we had not touched in the riverine areas. He has done a lot of work there. And with the performance of APC in Nigeria and in Lagos in particular, he has shown some of their faults, some of their weaknesses, some of the projects they did. The question had always asked, at what cost? The rail line was supposed to be delivered way back in 2013. Now, 2023, is it even there? It's just a campaign gimmick. Let's see it running. That's when I believe that project is completed. It is not. They will have done it in phases, and it will have helped the transportation system. These are some of the things our own candidate is going to use for his campaign. These are some of the things that he will do that will make a difference when he eventually wins in the election. We are working, and we are working quietly and silently, and we hope to win in the coming election.
Okay.
We will use what we have to get what we desire.
Well, Captain Shella, you said the previous candidate was not as confident, so you are saying invariably that Mr. Jimmy Agbade, who had been the PDP candidate, didn't show enough determination, courage, commitment as Olajide Adediran, who is the current candidate, just to put that way. But you've been using the word we will support our candidate, But the big man in Lagos PDP politics, Chief Olabode George, he's a wicked man. Wike comes to Lagos, he doesn't even attend to you people within the party. He goes to the APC people and he goes back to his Port Harcourt. Where does Chief Olabode George stand in this gubernatorial election in Lagos State this year? Is he supporting Jandor, or is just a wicked man, although he says his own intervention is on the basis of principle and justice and fairness?
You know, I was the closest person to Chief Bode George. I'm sure everybody in Lagos politics knows about that, even outside Lagos. Everybody has retirement age, whether in politics or in private business or in civil service.
I hear some husbands even retire.
Yes, it's a natural phenomenon. So, as you get older, things change. And you may not know that people are withdrawing from you. A lot of people have left Chief Bode George's camp. So, and I'm sure it's not deliberately trying to sabotage PDP, maybe due to his own conviction that he wanted fairness, equity, and justice. But he had wanted to be the chairman of the party before. He was denied by this same Governor Wike. He was the best candidate then, but they said they didn't want an old man. Wike was the champion of this cause. He went as far as wanting to introduce the greenhorn in Jimmy Agbaje to be a national chairman. He joined the party not quite 4, 5, 6 years, and Governor Wike chose him to tackle this same Chief Bode George. But by divine intervention, that convention was aborted. Wike again went out to look for another candidate in the person of Alimodu Sheriff, a stranger in the party. That attempt also failed. Then McAfee, former Governor McAfee was then made the acting chairman until a convention was done, and we had the chairman in the person of
Prince Uche Secondus.
Prince Uche Secondus. And who sponsored Uche Secondus against Chief Bode George? It was this same Governor Wike. It's like the party, if we are not careful, Wike will just suck all of us in and be the owner of the party. That shouldn't be. He should just reflect back, go back to his inner mind and change his attitude. That one will help the party, will help him. What does he gain if PDP loses in this election? What does he gain if Atiku loses?
Right.
But he gains a lot if PDP wins, he gains a lot if Atiku wins. That will be
one
our
clarification, Captain Shelley, just before we wrap this up. You think Chief Olabode just should retire? He's too old for politics.
I'm not saying he should retire. He's an elder statesman. He's very brilliant, intelligent, and well organized. But there are certain things you don't get yourself involved in at a certain age.
So on this matter, I should take the back seat. He
should take the back seat. He's been advised severally by family members, by people like us who feel you have done enough. You are a shining example, but you are not always right.
Well, thank you very much, Captain Tunji Shelle, former Lagos State Chairman of the PDP. It's time now for a short break on the morning show. When we return, we'll have Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni join us to review top stories in today's newspapers. Stay with us. Thank you.
New Naira notes? Don't panic. Here's what you need to know. Ensure to make deposits of all old banknotes before January 31, 2023. To make the process seamless for you, all Fidelity Bank branches will be open till 6 p.m. on weekdays and 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays to allow for cash deposits only. Also, please note that bank charges on all cash deposits have been suspended by the CBN. However, charges shall still be applied on cash withdrawals. The new banknotes can be accessed at any Fidelity Bank branch nationwide from December 15, 2022. Old banknotes will remain in circulation till January 31, 2023, when they will cease to be legal tender, as directed by the CBN. For more inquiries, follow us on our social media channels or email us at true.serve@fidelitybank.ng. You can also call 0700 3035 489 or reach us on WhatsApp on 090 3000 5252. Thank you for banking with us.
We are Fidelity. We keep our word.
Introducing an all-time mega offer. Get over 50% discount in the Airtel Home Broadband mega offer. Buy a router for just 10,000 Naira and get up to 240 gigabyte or a MiFi for 5,000 Naira and get up to 125 gigabyte bonus data. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband buy.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Getting together for the first time in years was a little bit awkward. Grandpa still tried to entertain us. Mom was always stealing the spotlight from the kids. It wasn't until Grandma cracked a joke
That's my favorite prayer.
that we got back into our groove. In this festive, DSTV is making family time even better with an upgrade.
Stay connected to DSTV and we'll upgrade you to the next package for free.
The Zenith Better Life promo is back, and it's bigger and better. You could be one of 20 lucky customers to win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from now till January 31st, 2023. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account and maintain a minimum balance of 5,000 Naira. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Zenith Bank, in your best interest.
Me and my guys see enter road, they flexing my brand new moto. My baby said she win the hobo festival of joy glow promo, and my fans get fans with them still we know. Even if light off and we go still go. Hey, wait, now they don't carry lights. We the weekend, someone like go still show. It's the festival of joy glow promo. Fashion killer, dress code bigger. Win so we machine for the Glow Festival. But I just they win left, right and center. That's the 611 hash to enter. Festival of joy. Oh, festival. That's the 611 hash to win and enjoy. Festival of joy.
Imagine your wallet can be everything. Well, almost everything your bank is to you. That's exactly what First Money Wallet is. First Money Wallet from First Bank is another swift and seamless way to bank from your mobile phone. It doesn't matter if you have a First Bank account or not, nor the mobile network you use. Everyone can open a First Money Wallet, and it's very easy. Your phone number is your account number. With First Money Wallet, you can send money using just a phone number, receive money, pay bills, buy airtime and data for yourself or someone else, and check balance. You don't need a bank account at all or BVN to enjoy the boundless possibilities First Money Wallet offers. All you need is a registered phone number, and you can fund your wallet easily through your First Bank account or any bank account and debit card. What's more, First Money Wallet is highly secure with fingerprint technology and PIN. And when you need cash, just walk up to any First Money agent near you to withdraw money. No smartphone, no wahala. Just dial *894*1# on any phone. So it doesn't matter if you live in the city or the remotest part of the country. With First Money Wallet, your transactions are easy, seamless, and secure. Download the First Money Wallet app now. Input your phone number and follow the prompts, or simply dial *894*1#. All money now on First Money. You first. First Bank.
As a player, there's nothing better than the roar of your crowd. But in Nigeria, there's a roar that may not be heard again. With fewer than 50 lions left, they could be extinct in the next few years, from loss of habitat and prey, and snares set for illegal bushmeat. So please, say no to illegal bushmeat. Let's keep the roar alive for Nigeria, because poaching steals from us all.
Welcome back to the Morning Show here on Arise News. Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifini. Good morning, Emmanuel, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Ruben. Good morning. Good morning, Ayo. Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New
to
Year
our
to you.
viewers out there on this Monday morning. Now, we'll start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of record, the lead story. Obasanjo's endorsement of Obi stirs angry reactions from Tinubu Atiku. Former president says citizens have moved from frying pan to fire under Buhari, wants youth to retake country. Labour Party calls on IBB, Jonathan, others to also endorse their candidate. APC campaign. Obasanjo cannot win his polling unit. Support for Obi worthless. PDP, PCC, yes, PDP Presidential Campaign Council. Whether he likes it or not, Atiku will be president. Yes, the Obasanjo endorsement. Yes, a long letter, of course, familiar with the letter writing skills of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And whenever he writes, he creates controversy. But this time around, of course, delivering a punch to the Buhari administration, Ruben said presidential spokesmen are still slumbering on holiday. We expect their fireworks. Ruben, they will not be happy with you. Of course. To say that they are still eating jollof rice. Of course, everybody's still in the celebration mood, except for those of us who are on essential duty here on a Monday morning like this. Others are still snoring, some from hangover. But we expect to hear from President Muhammadu Buhari's team because that in itself is, I don't want to call it a killer blow, to say that President Buhari has taken Nigeria from fry pan to fire, as is captured here, is something. But most Nigerians know the story, so it's not as if former President Olusegun Obasanjo is saying something new concerning the state of affairs in our country. But the Obi endorsement, of course, that packs the punch, as it were. For editors, it was a good day because on a Sunday, when the Monday is public holiday, editors literally scavenge for stories to lead their paper, but not yesterday when former President Olusegun Obasanjo is writing one of his familiar letters, this time a long one, endorsing Peter Obi. And all the newspapers I have with me have that as their lead. The Punch newspaper, Obasanjo endorses Obi as Atiku. Tinubu counts protest. The Guardian newspaper, APC, PDP denounce OBJ's letter endorsing Obi. While the Daily Sun newspaper, Presidency, Obasanjo endorses Peter Obi. Rights Youth, others say Labour Party candidate will salvage Nigeria. Ex-president endorsement, worthless. Tinubu, it is his personal opinion. Atiku, I'm in a strong position to win. Obi? Yes, now, the Nation newspaper, Obasanjo under fire for endorsing Labour Party candidate Obi. While the Vanguard newspaper, 2023, Atiku, Tinubu kick as Obasanjo endorses Peter Obi. Now, the New Telegraph newspaper, 2023 presidency, Obasanjo breaks silence, endorses Obi. Any surprise there? Not really, because the body language of former President Olusegun Obasanjo has been tilted towards Peter Obi in recent weeks. And no surprise, really, because I cannot imagine an Obasanjo endorsing somebody who said it is the turn of the Yorubas and Emilio Kan at a time after we had 8 years of Obasanjo presidency, almost 8 years of Professor Yemi Oshibajo vice presidency. Obasanjo, I know, looks beyond tribe. He's a nationalist who is ready to do anything for the unity of this country. Of course, one of those commanders during the Civil War who fought for the unity of this country. And of course, his grouse, his beef with Atiku is well documented over time. He has done so much to demarcate Atiku in the past. So I'm not surprised really that this time around he's come out to endorse Peter Obi, and he gave reasons. The mental capacity, physical capacity, somebody with integrity. I'm sure when you tick some of these boxes, you say, yes, there's good reason to endorse Peter Obi, but is it the first time former President Olusegun Obasanjo is endorsing a candidate talking about physical strength, or yes, physical capacity, which according to him, from his experience, is necessary also to run a country like Nigeria, especially at this time when the nation is in dire straits. But with that experience, Ruben, you rightly pointed out, he picked, pushed, and campaigned for a certain Umaru Yar'Adua, who was obviously sick and was even at one point in the hospital from where former President Olusegun Obasanjo on the soapbox called, Umaru, they say, are you dead? So what happened to looking for physical strength at that time? Well, people changed their position. Now he has realized his mistakes then, you want to say. So he doesn't want another person looking sickly to get to the presidency. Well, is there any merit in that? Now, the question is, what is the worth of an endorsement? In presidential politics, you say endorsements, big deal. Celebrity endorsement by heavyweights. But does it really translate to votes at the end of the day? Will former President Olusegun Obasanjo go on the soapbox to start campaigning for Peter Obi? Or he will just be minding his word, the hilltop in Abeokuta at the end of the day? But for whatever it is worth, it's a big deal. To have an Obasanjo throw his weight behind Peter Obi is big, because other presidential candidates have been making several trips to the Hilltop Presidential Library to get photo ops, to get the support of former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Now that the support has been given to Peter Obi, they are saying it is worthless. I think it's just about crying sour grapes, as it were. But the presidential election, Nigerians will decide at the end of the day. February 25 is the date. Get your PVC. Go there, pick your candidate. But Obasanjo is appealing to the youths. This is your time. Take your country back. Go there and vote. Will all the youths queue behind Peter Obi because of that? Well, left to be seen. Now, other stories. If we just go back to the Punch newspaper, there's a story there below the photograph. Aja policemen caught drinking on duty, abandoned work. Aha. So if you are living around Aja, yes, that notorious police station, you had better be careful, because Punch recently did an investigation which shows that policemen in that locality are known for drinking on duty. When you drink on duty and you carry gun, sometimes what happens? The lawyer lady who was killed on Christmas Day is going to happen. But the Inspector General of Police and the police authority must take note and get sanity in that area, so that these policemen who are a danger to citizens are not allowed to continue to be on duty and drinking at the same time. Now, if we just look at the Nation newspaper now, the Nation newspaper, the story under the photograph, the second lead, Auditor General of the Federation reports 17.877 million barrels of crude oil exported without records. The report is accusing the the Accountant General of the Federation of paying 73 billion naira without approval. Yes, and this report exclusively obtained by the Nation newspaper. In the report, the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation was indicted for making payments of over 73 billion naira to service providers, that is, pre-shipment agents, PIAs, and monitoring and evaluation agents for inspection and monitoring of oil and gas. So what were they monitoring? For which they were paid 73 billion naira without approval, yet our oil stolen, taken out of the country, exported without record. That is a report we should keep an eye on. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly, the Guardian newspaper, the Guardian of UK, fury as ministers plan for new real terms pay cut for NHS staff. Now, warning of prolonged strike. Now, ministers have asked the NHS pay review body to cap increase in frontline health workers' pay to 2%. And of course, for the workers, they said this would mean NHS wages falling further behind other sectors. Well, Steve Barclay, the health secretary, saying that this will also help curb inflation. But the workers are having none of that. So the strike in the UK may just be for a long haul, as it were. And the New York Times is reporting, watching China, US pours cash into chip making. A Cold War in tech ramp up is no silver bullet in push to cut foreign supplies. Intel is investing $20 billion in 2 new factories to make semiconductors, while Micron Tech is also investing another $20 billion to cut China to size, as it were. Ruben and Ayo.
Okay, very quickly. I just thought I should draw attention to a statement by Dr. Adefila, Fedayo Adefila, that's the head of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control, saying that Nigeria is not considering restrictions on travels or isolation for persons, traveling into Nigeria from China. as other countries have done, notably Japan, Italy, the United States, Malaysia, India, as a result of the fact that there's been a surge in infections rate in China. And Dr. Adetifa has been quoted as saying that when it was Omicron and Nigeria imposed restrictions on travelers into the country, it didn't make any difference. And he doesn't think that there's anything to worry about. Maybe the thing to tell Dr. Ifedaya Adetifa is one, for him to look at why those other countries took that decision. Because Nigeria has a very strong Chinese community, very robust relationship with China. And the Chinese New Year is just around the corner. So there's going to be a lot of traveling to and fro. On December 28th, 50% of flights going to Italy from China, 50% of the passengers were infected with COVID. But here is Nigeria saying, no, we don't have any issue. We don't have any issue. Even when there is an Omicron variant that is now causing issues in the United States. It's called the SBB 1.5, which Professor Anthony Fauci says is very resistant to existing vaccines. So please, maybe the Nigerian Center for Disease Control should take a second look at this. And Dr. Adetifa should take a second look at those tweets that he put out yesterday. Is his opinion driven by science or by common sense? Thank you very much, Emmanuel.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll take a short break now. When we return, Ojinika Ukwe will be here with details on what's trending. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Periwinkle Empire, a collection of high-end homes and condos, strategically located in the very stunning and timeless landscape of Lekki Phase 1 and Victoria Island. Each development is deliberately crafted for ultimate comfort, with features and facilities to provide a lifetime of limitless convenience. A perfect choice for both investors and home buyers, these luxury towers merges comfort with your lifestyle. The ultimate live, work, and play.
I've been running my business on my own, trying my best to get it to the next level, but I really need some help to get ahead. I know just what to do, I'll vault it for my loans, overdraft, step by step to my dream business with Vault. Vault is the answer. Salary earners, entrepreneurs, get your loans with no collateral. Vault is the answer. Quick sign up, zero paperwork, step by step to your dream business with Vault. By Polaris Bank.
Vault is available to individuals, SMEs, and corporate customers. Download Vault by Polaris Bank from the Google Play Store or Apple App Store to get started today.
My brother, my sister, on a day, listen make I clear on a well. To win election, no be only say your vote na plenty pass before person fit win election for we country. The person must win 25% of vote for 2/3 of state plus the FCT for Nigeria. That one now for president. And governor must win the same thing for all local government area for the state. Na so our constitution put am and na so all our presido take become presido. All our governors na the same way them take win. So therefore, my people, our country big enough is small and we get different language, different religion, ethnic group that one self dey nyafu. Now why nobody fit think say if you don't get north vote, abi south vote, abi east or west vote, you don't do. Nalayo, except you collect vote from all over the country, you just dey bobo yourself. Make una tell everybody, make everybody for know now. Make you no for cause fight tomorrow. Na Center for Democracy and Development, CDD, with support from the Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office, FCDO, bring on this message.
Esther, you're late again. Esther?
She's a wonder, a light in the darkness. She's beautiful. Oh, she's a superstar.
Morning, Esther.
She never let her mama down. She's beautiful. She know the fear. She know they ever got a hand for her.
No phones at the table, please. Esther? I love you too.
Got everything? Don't forget I'll pick you at 4.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Getting together for the first time in years was a little bit awkward. Grandpa still tried to entertain us. Mom was always stealing the spotlight from the kids. It wasn't until Grandma cracked a joke
That's my favorite prayer.
that we got back into our groove. In this festive, DSTV is making family time even better with an upgrade.
Stay connected to DSTV and we'll upgrade you to the next package for free.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now is Ojinika Ojiokwe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jinik.
Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good to see you in the new year.
I was
Happy New
hoping
Year.
this new year will bring about a new change to my name, but no, we're sticking to it. How are you?
I'm good.
Good morning, Ayo. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to
Hope
you
you had
too.
a good one.
I did. Had a
Perfect.
fantastic one. Hope you did too.
Yes, I did.
All right.
Well, good morning to you, viewers, and Happy New Year. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe.
In Italy, the Vatican on Sunday shared images of the late Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI, who died on Saturday, January 31st, at the age of 95, lying in his home chapel at the Mater Ecclesiae Monastery, where he lived before his death. The former pontiff's body will today, January 2nd, lie in state at St. Peter's Basilica for public viewing until Thursday, January 5th, when he will be laid to rest. In Brazil, leftist leader Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva was sworn in as president of the country on Sunday under tightened security in the capital, Brasilia, following threats of violence by supporters of his far-right predecessor, Jair Bolsonaro. The 77-year-old president narrowly defeated Bolsonaro in October to win an unprecedented third presidential term after a hiatus that saw him spend a year and a half behind bars on corruption convictions that were later overturned. In Uganda, authorities have confirmed the death of at least 9 people, including a 10-year-old boy who died in a stampede during a New Year celebration in Kampala, the capital of the country. The incident happened in the early hours of Sunday at the Freedom City Mall when an event host ushered people to watch a fireworks display. The police say at least 5 people died at the scene and 4 others died from their injuries at the hospital. Honor Sports. The funeral rites of Brazilian football legend Pelé, who died after a battle with colon cancer at the age of 82 on Thursday, December 29, is set to begin today, January 2nd, as friends and family continue to pay tribute to the three-time World Cup winner, his mother, Celeste Nascimento, who celebrated her 100th birthday last month. With Pelé recording the special moment on Instagram, is said to be unaware of her son's death. Pelé is due to be buried in a 14-story cemetery, a Guinness World Records holder for the tallest cemetery in the world, in the center of Santos, where he played most of his club football on Tuesday, January 3rd. Finally, under entertainment, multiple award-winning novelist Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie over the weekend was conferred with the chieftaincy title of Odeluwa, which means writer for the world, by the traditional ruler of her community in Anambra State, Igwe Leonard Nwankwo Eze. Her chieftaincy title was the first of such on a woman in her hometown of Aba. The highly acclaimed novelist, who is one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world, is best known for her award-winning novels Purple Hibiscus, Half of a Yellow Sun, and Americana. The ceremony was well attended by dignitaries, including the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. Chimamanda, accompanied by her husband and other members of her family, during the ceremony, described her chieftaincy title as very remarkable and a challenge for her to do more for her community.
To be celebrated here today is very moving for me. I'm very happy. I'm filled with joy, and it also makes me want to continue to do well, because I think that it's important to my people that I continue to represent them well.
Another win for Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Congratulations to Chimamanda. I mean, this title that she got, like I said, is the first in her home community. She's about the first chief in her hometown. So I think it's such a great honor that they bestowed on her over the weekend. But more importantly, she talked about the fact that she was accepting the award on behalf of her parents as well. Her father, Professor James Adichie, was given a chieftaincy title as well. This is Odelora, which means writer for the people, and now she is Odeluwa, writer for the world. I love it, really, Dr. Vati.
Well, I mean, you know I'm biased when it comes to...
I know. I think both of us. I don't know about you, Ayo.
I am as well. I'm so delighted that we're starting off with that story today.
Out of my respect for her talent, for her genius, for what she's been able to achieve. And, I mean, the honor is very well deserved. Odeluwa Aba. If you look at her novel, Popular Hibiscus, in fact, that community features very prominently in that particular narrative. And beyond that, she's taken our community and the whole country and Africa to the global stage. She's been honored by Harvard universities, by institutions across the world for the quality of her work, for the strong narrative about the incompleteness of the single story and how there are many perspectives, you know, to reality, whether it is feminism or culture or the common heritage that we all share as a global community. And she has done this very consistently in novels and also in her essays. So she's someone, you know, that we are all very proud of, either in the literary community or in Nigeria or elsewhere. Now, this special title, Odeluwa, the writer of global acclaim, coming from our immediate community. She has accepted it, and I think that this is a clear illustration of how a prophet, in this case a prophetess, has honor in our own home. And our kindred, our kith and kin, you know, they've considered it necessary to honor her, and she accepted the honor. I've seen one musician online, one guy called Brimo.
Brimo.
Is it Brimo?
It's Brimo.
Okay, complaining that, this is anti-Peter Obi, and that Chimamanda Adichie accepting a traditional title and not taking the national honor of Nigeria, you know, it's not good for the... Brimo, you called him, he should go and sit down. This is a perfect case of Your sister is building a house. You are going there to go and steal blocks and bags of cement. Because I don't see the connection.
I mean, I really don't
between
either.
Peter Obi's ambition and Chimamanda Adichie, accepting to be honored by our own people. When she was given the national honors of Nigeria, she rejected it. She didn't even show up. Okay, and that was an ideological choice. And she will not be the first person to reject the national honor of Nigeria. Chinua Achebe, whom she considers and whom all of us consider, a role model, a source of inspiration for generations of people in African literature and world literature, as it is otherwise called in an expansive sense, rejected the national honors of Nigeria twice. Professor Wole Soyinka also in 2014 had cause to reject a centenary award from the Nigerian government. So writers have the right to make ideological choices. So linking, the Odeluwa title to Peter Obi's ambition, is a very unimaginative way of commenting on public affairs. If Brahimo does not know what to say, you should just congratulate her, as we do
That's
here.
it.
And let Chimamanda Adichie know that at the earliest opportunity, you don't just come and collect title around here. It has implications.
There must be implications.
Yes.
There must be
To be
implications.
measured in pepper soup and jollof rice.
Why did I know he was going to say that, Ayo?
I am looking forward to my first implications here because I've heard so many things about it.
Well, it's your birthday this month.
It's my birthday.
Oh,
fantastic.
We are waiting.
No, you
We are
have
waiting.
to do the implication first.
I'm looking forward to that. But the thing about it, what makes this very special is that Chimamanda Adichie, Ngozi Adichie, does not hide her love and pride in the hometown where she was raised and where she's from. She reflects it in her literature, in her speaking engagements, and very importantly, in her acceptance speech of this title. And by the way, very fitting, the first female chief to be so recognized as a feminist as she is.
I love
and promoting equal rights for both men and women.
Yes.
It's very important to note the fact that she talked about the role that her upbringing and the way that her parents raised her to have an appreciation for her hometown. I often look at her because she's gone on many stages. Dr. Bassey talked about how she's been awarded, given honorary degrees by Harvard, recognized by many international institutions, yet never losing herself or losing the depth of who she is, particularly from, Aba in the Igbo part of Nigeria, from Nigeria. Proudly Nigerian, raising the flag of Nigeria, particularly her hometown. And I think this is a worthy and deserving honor indeed. Absolutely. She continues to be a role model for young people, young girls, young boys from different parts of Nigeria to see that you are first Nigerian, you're first African, and you should be proudly so. Congratulations. What a way to start off the New Year's trending.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie.
Chief, please.
Chief.
I love
Odeluwa.
Odeluwa won worldwide.
I love it. You're so proud. Look at you. Okay, congratulations, Chief Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Well, let's continue what's trending with reactions trailing the endorsement of the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, by Nigeria's former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, ahead of the 2023 general election. Obasanjo made the endorsement on Sunday in his New Year message to Nigerians. He urged young people to be more deliberate about the choices they make, using the phrase, "Ẹ̀yin ló kàn," meaning it's your turn, adding that the power to change is in their hands and that the 2023 elections should not be taken for granted. In the meantime, the Presidential Campaign Council of the APC described Obasanjo's endorsement of Peter Obi as worthless, adding that the former president hardly has strong electoral value, while the PDP's Presidential Campaign Council, in a statement, pronounced that whether Obasanjo likes it or not, Atiku will be president in his lifetime. Let's take some tweets. Well, this is from author and activist Reno Omokri, who wrote, President Obasanjo is a good-hearted man. He has always wanted a president from the southeast or close to the southeast as a way to heal the civil war wounds. In 2007, he wanted Peter Odili, but Yar'Adua insisted on Governor Jonathan as VP. What OBJ did won't affect the election. Hashtag Table Shaker. Well, Daniel wrote, Obasanjo endorsing Peter Obi isn't a news worth celebrating. Don't forget, the same Obasanjo once supported Jonathan in 2011, then switched to Buhari in 2015 before endorsing Atiku in 2019, reportedly. You all complain about godfatherism, but overlook it when it favors you. Get serious. Well, Victor wrote, no endorsement will decide the outcome of the 2023 elections. Obasanjo also endorsed Buhari in 2015. And what has become of our nation? Only Nigerians will endorse who will become their president and not an individual. Well, in another development, the People's Democratic Party has asked the governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, to apologize to Atiku Abubakar for allegedly telling unsubstantiated tales about the 2003 presidential election. The Rivers State governor had over the weekend said Nigeria's former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, went down on his knees and begged Atiku Abubakar to allow him to run for a second term, adding that Atiku agreed, but on the grounds that he must remove the late Tony Anehi, a former minister of works and a PDP chieftain from the campaign council at the time. Let's take a listen before we come back for a discussion.
In 2002 and 2003, when President Olusegun Obasanjo wanted to run for second tenure, a Hope president wanted to run for a second tenure, he knelt down before his vice. He knelt down before his vice presidential candidate, the vice president, and said, my vice, please allow me to run. You know the condition he gave him? One of the conditions, you know what he gave him? Tony Anini must be sacked as Minister of Works. And Tony Anini must not be the President Campaign Council. Obasanjo obliged and sacked Tony Anini as Minister of Works. And removed him from President Council and brought him back to South. This one, we are not even doing that. We are not saying, sack this one, give for the... No. We are only saying, by the constitution of our party, by what the national chairman said, and by what you told me in my house when he came to see me. Now you have gotten the president. We are not fighting about it. We say you have taken, we don't want to fight. Okay, give us the national chairman. And you say, no, we will not listen to you. Don't give us condition. Something that is touching on the foundation of the unity of a country.
Now, Dr. Bati, this has generated a lot of reactions on social media. I'd like your take on this particular topic before we talk about
Well, I saw Governor Wike, since he lost the presidential primaries and he was not chosen as vice presidential candidate running mate to Atiku, there have been many tales. He and his supporters have been claiming that they are fighting on the basis of equity, fairness, and justice, namely that the chairman of the party cannot come from the north and the presidential candidate at the same time. But the party claims that it has since moved on. The party has passed a vote of confidence on Senator Iyorchia Ayu. But Wike and co and gang, you know, the rebellious gang, the rebellious wing of the People's Democratic Party, they insist that they will make an earth-shaking announcement in January. We're waiting for that, you know, what that earth-shaking announcement will be. But of course, as I have pointed out on this program, Wike is the only one there who is not running for election. All the other persons, they are either going to Senate or like Makinde in Oyo State, they are seeking a second term. You know, they could take steps that could sabotage them too. So you cut your nose to spite your face. They have that. And it looks like they are a group of agitators who are looking for shelter outside of the PDP. Would they go out of the PDP? Would they remain in the PDP? Would the tales continue as people are accusing Wike of storytelling? Well, I think in 2003 that he was talking about, he must have been a local government chairman somewhere in one remote location, Obiakpo local government. So, yeah, you know, people who are better informed in the matter will probably report whether indeed you had the president begging his vice president in 2003. And if he's using that parallel, is he saying that Atiku should come and kneel down for him? I don't think that's likely to happen. Is he saying that Atiku should come and beg him? Well, Atiku says he has met with him about 5 times. Other members of the party have met with him. But he and his group are saying there is an irreducible minimum. Now, by this January, as he has promised, we will know where the matter is. In any case, after February 15, all of these people who are getting hypertensive over all kinds of things, you know, their system will calm down because the election will have been won and lost. And I hope that we'll be able to just have peace, you know, and that all the gladiators will allow us to have peace, either with their verbal diarrhea or with their physical exertions or their emotional displays over this all-important transitional election in Nigeria. As for President Olusegun Obasanjo, well, we discussed this in extenso earlier before he joined us. One, yes, there is celebrity endorsement. People endorse people, but how does that affect the price of garri or rice? What is important is that the average Nigerian voter must make an informed choice. I said it, President Obasanjo himself has just he has one voter's card. He cannot use more than that one voter's card. But as a prominent Nigerian, as statesman, as 2-time head of state, he probably, you know, has a strong opinion. But how many people will follow his opinion? That remains to be seen. The second thing, of course, is that, look, this election is so important. People have the right, under the Constitution, he has the right to make his own choice. And if he says it's Peter Obi that he has endorsed, I don't think he should be insulted because of that. It is his choice. After all, the other day, Chief Atoize said he was opposed to Peter Obi. Now, President Obasanjo is saying, he thinks that Peter Obi has an edge. So you have people who will endorse, you have people who will reject. Mm-hmm. But the voter should be informed. You make your own choice. The President Obasanjo doesn't have more rights than you.
Yeah.
You know, despite his prominence and his, role in Nigerian history. But he says some other even far-reaching things beyond the choice. His assessment of the Buhari administration. He thinks that the Buhari administration has imposed distress on Nigeria. He thinks that the Buhari administration has imposed hell on earth on Nigerians. And he says the young people of Nigeria should look for that leader who can make a difference, who can move this country forward. So I don't think we should just focus on the sensational part.
Yeah.
He has endorsed Peter Obi, and he said he does not believe in Emilokoism. Or it is my turn, or I've been there before. He says this election should be about we and us,
well said,
not about Emilokoism or I, me, myself,
and I.
All
right, Ayo, what do you make of that picture that Wike, painted of Obasanjo going down on his knees to, beg Atiku Abubakar to allow him run for a second term? A lot of people have disclaimed it, like the PDP are saying that he should apologize. I'd like your particular thought on that.
Yes, thank you. So, Governor Nyesom Wike is known for his big work. He makes shocking statements. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they want to off his mic. Politicians are quick to say that, why would you do that? You're meant to be one of us. I mean, when he talks about the 13% derivatives by the governor, asking people by the oil-producing state governors and how they hadn't declared, and he declared just off the cuff when was inaugurating a bridge. And now he's talking about what must have transpired or what might have transpired in 2002 and 2003. History would say that at that time, I mean, the PDP Board of Trustees chairman, Chief Tony Aneni, didn't resign until about 2015. So it's interesting the time lapse between the time when this conversation was meant to have happened and when the resignation actually happened. Truth is that, as Mr. Frank Schreib, the special assistant to the PDP candidate, said, that unfortunately Chief Tony Aneni is not here to defend himself. Yes. So we cannot, except for there was an independent observer. The only person that we can look forward to a rejoinder or to confirm or deny this fact is President Olusegun Obasanjo himself. Unfortunately, he didn't include it in the letter from yesterday, so he didn't quite address that. it would be worthy of note to understand the importance, why he brought it up in conversation. As Dr. Bati said, was it so that he's now the Obasanjo in this case, whereby they were agitating for a removal of one person as the key to securing his presidential ambition. And that's almost the same thing that they're asking, President in waiting or presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar to do. Very important points here. But also, I want to just say one thing quickly about President Obasanjo's letter, because the focus from politicians, obviously, is on the fact that he's endorsing one candidate. However, he also made many salient points, particularly speaking to the young people of Nigerians. He reminded young people that politics is a game of numbers, and we must not, in all that's happening around in the political world, forget that you have the numbers as young people. Beyond complaining, beyond an agitation for a new Nigeria, is that you must exercise the power of your numbers by getting your PVCs and voting. The power lies with you. Please don't let anyone deceive you otherwise. Go out there. He's giving the criteria for voting in a president. Whomever your choice is, make that choice and ensure you take ownership of your Nigeria.
Very well said, Ayo. We shall take our final story. The governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, at the Kaduna 2023 countdown celebration, wished the people of Kaduna a Happy New Year. He also appealed for optimism despite the tough times. Well, in a video that is now making the rounds on social media, the governor was seen dancing to Kiss Daniel's famous song, Buga, into the new year. Let's take a look. Wow, Governor El-Rufai definitely got the memo there. I have a thing for that Buga song. Like you said, I hope they pay Kiss Daniel for all these that they use. Well, thank you both for your great analysis.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to Kiss Daniel.
Yes.
From presidents to governors to presidential candidates. Absolutely. Everybody has been bugaing. They will all buga in the year 2023.
Dr. Bati, thank you. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.
And that's all on today's edition of The Morning Show. Rochus Odiri will be here next to take you through Global Business Report. Stay with us. It's still the Arise News Channel.
My people, my name is Emeka, Meku's car mats. Let me get all this motor. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when we get bust, now my eye open. I don't know see that 419 be. Now when EFCC babam, now they come bab me too. Now he make me they warn you all of them when they do business like me. Where they carry big money, well, sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. Yeah, they could not shine in my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, what they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If it pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you not do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen.